Listen, you guys know I'm not a big fan of using language, but you just gotta be crass and honest here. I blew the out of this engine. All right, boys. Let's have some fun today. We're at Harris Hill Raceway. This is one of my favorite tracks. It favors momentum cars, which is great, and also is great for a reason that I'm not super happy with today. So when I was shaking this car down, well, not shaking down, but I was making sure everything was good yesterday. I was getting fuel. My VTEC stopped working again. Not sure what's going on. Data doesn't know. Can't figure it out. Might just need a new wiring harness, so I can't go into VTEC. Don't feel like floating valves today and blowing up a fully built K-Series. So blowing up a fully built K-Series. So the main reason I really wanted to take this car out to the track is because I've never been to one. The suspension has never been tested. I don't even know what brakes he's got on it. These tires could be a little old, so I'm just gonna try and push the car to its limits today and see what I need to adjust. I love the smell of a built K-Series in the morning. If I just put a hole in this block, I swear. It was warmed up and VTEC was finally working, so I was like, let's go, dude. Well, ladies and gents, I made a mess. Can I like sweep this up or anything? Are you sure? I want to get home and like get it on the lift and get the engine out, see what in the world happened. But I texted Ethan Edmond, the guy I bought the car from, and his first question was, did a rod bolt come loose? I don't know. Interesting, that was his first thought. Me and Ethan, Trackstar Ethan, I think, are gonna hit this car again, and I might just put a stock K-Series in it. I was halfway, like I seriously was halfway anticipating something to happen to this engine. Wasn't expecting to window it, but I was kind of expecting like rod knock or something, or maybe some just oiling issues, but I mean, hey, if the rods weren't torqued to spec or something, the tolerances weren't right, like this happens really easily. So it was inevitable either way. I'm kind of surprised it lasted so long on the dyno, but I don't know, who knows, like something could have happened. It's cars, bro, like, how it goes sometimes. It's cars.
One eternity later.
My S2000 violently exploded at the track, and I'm hoping as much of this is salvageable as possible. I've already obviously started doing a little bit of a teardown to check out some stuff. We've got the engine out. It's, dare I say, worse than I thought. It is very, very, very bad. Got this sweet hole right here. You can see the crankshaft has been just absolutely obliterated. I feel like I'm doing a forecast right now. Light showers into the firewall and oil everywhere. Make sure you guys are safe. The roads are slick because I dumped 4 quarts of oil. it's time to disassemble this K-Series engine and see what actually happened and see the true damage. As much as, you know, it sucks to see this happen, I was legitimately anticipating this. The engine just didn't sound right from the beginning. Obviously, like you heard some chattery stuff. We replaced a lot of parts with very high quality stuff and it just didn't work in our favor. I knew that something was bound to happen. Either VTEC was not going to engage and I was gonna float a valve and something was gonna happen there, or this is, I think, like third block. I don't know how many blocks, but I mean, this car just had a history of issues. I just want to see what's inside, man. It's gonna be so bad. So this happened quite a while ago. I think it was sometime in last October or something of the sorts. This was kind of around a weird spot in time where I just started having what I want to say is just bad luck, but it's a bunch of stuff just started happening back to back to back, and I just like kept on piling up things that were breaking, and it's hard to stay up with stuff. I wanted to go ahead and go over everything that happened and show you guys the engine. I kept this car in the background for quite some time. At this point in time, as you guys might have seen from the last video that I made, the S2000 is now running. It's actually at the shop now. Pulled the engine out pretty soon after it and went over a little bit of the damage and figured out that the rod flew out the side of the block, and not soon after that, same thing happened to my IS300. I had some bad luck with throwing rods out the side of engines in 2022. So we're gonna cross our fingers and hope that doesn't happen this year at all. So Garen, who is actually over there at the moment working on my Supra because we're trying to get that back on the road, I had him take apart the rest of the K-Series and see what was usable and salvageable and see what else was the culprit and the reasoning why this happened. Because Ethan, the guy that I bought this car from, you know, one of my best friends, spent a long time and a lot of effort and time and money building this car. And so I wanted to know what in the world happened. So I'll get Garen over here and I wanna look at this K-Series because it's pretty disgusting. So as you guys have seen at this point, we sent cylinder number two through through the block, and that is honestly like something for being naturally aspirated. This is a super odd issue. Ethan, my tuner, always knows. He always knows. He felt like a rod bolt was loose or something like that because he's like, K-Series should never be this chattery. They should never be this noisy. And the Ethan I bought it from was like, yeah, it probably needs a new timing chain tensioner and this and that. And so we did that. Never really ended up like sounding right. And then of course we had all the VTEC issues, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe there was some sort of sensor in the engine that was like hearing it and like not letting it go into VTEC or something. But it seemed like it had, I did oil pressure tests many times and it was like perfect oil pressure. But anyways, so I had Garen, which is our new boy over here. Yep. Take apart the engine and I guess find some things. First off, where's the one that was obliterated? Where's the rod that was just like destroyed?
Oh, I don't think it's even, I didn't even pull it out.
Oh, okay, I didn't even realize it's still chilling. Okay, there is no rod.
Yeah.
Was there anything even connected?
No, nothing. They're both.
Oh, it was just gone.
It was gone. And this was cylinder one.
This is crazy.
It was going
Look at that. Look at that bearing.
And if you can look at the edge of the piston, it's actually was hitting the.
Oh my god, dude. There's a bunch of stuff with this engine that was just not.
Here. Actually, it was.
Oh, we broke a piston ring. So I'm wondering if that was before or after it lost its oil pressure from this, though.
Yeah, like it broke this lower half, so this lower half's unusable.
Oh my god, dude. I mean, this whole block's not usable anymore.
The ARP bolt, the studs were all loose, so.
That's cool. Okay, so this is kind of crazy though. So this is cylinder one. These are forged. These are nice rods too. Yeah. What are these?
SuperTech pistons.
Oh, SuperTech. So these are nice. Or the rods or pistons?
The pistons are SuperTech, but I'm guessing.
Oh my god. Yeah, look at the bottom of this piston right there. It just got smacked right here.
Oh yeah.
It got smacked around. I was hoping the pistons would be usable again, but not really thinking that those are.
This one was stripped, it looked like.
Dude, that's crazy.
And like some of the, even like the rod cap bolts were all loose. Like.
So that was the next thing. The rod cap bolts weren't all the way torqued down. So Ethan had an interesting, I will put this out there. Ethan had an interesting issue with this car, and I want to kind of, in his defense here, even though I'm still having to deal with it. Oh yeah, hey, here's the rod.
No, that's an end cap.
Oh my god.
Holy cow.
Yeah, dude.
Insane.
That's sick, dude. Well, okay, so I think what's obvious to happen here is engines spin very fast, as you guys know. So the second that a cap lets loose and a rod starts flinging around with nothing holding it to the actual crankshaft, it just goes everywhere. You guys should see, before I continue, look at the oil pickup. He had this custom CNC'd, this oil pump, which is now completely done. And then, Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
You can see all that stuff in there, all the nasties in there. It's all just oil shavings. Probably from bearings, I would have to assume. Bearings everywhere in this engine. You can kind of see like right there, boom. So I'm thinking the first one's, oh. Oh, it broke the whole thing.
Oh my god.
Well, that's gonna have to go on the wall, dude.
The rings are still in there. Some of them.
We can reuse those.
Yeah, no, that is crazy.
Yeah, you gotta keep that one.
Yeah, so I've done these. I've done this a lot. I think this is my 5th motor I've grenaded. 4th or 5th.
You should just put this whole thing on the wall.
I might, honestly. This thing's pretty crazy. And as you guys know, the JZ right here, I did the same damn thing. I think this one spun a bearing though, probably because it had no more oil pressure, and I drove the car in after this happened. Like, I didn't stop it and like get towed. I knew it was done. So I just kept on driving it on 3 cylinders and sending it. So I guess let's flip it back over and see what's going on here. That is nuts, dude. Oh, hey, how did that happen? Oh, is that just like a sleeve? What the hell is that? It seemed to fit perfectly in there.
Yeah, it might be like a support.
A sleeve support, cylinder support type thing. I don't know what it does, but it was right there. You can see like even the skirt, the cylinder wall is just gone right there. It's funny because the rod itself made it sort of an implant. You can literally see, did you see like how it,
oh yeah,
it's so hot, it just kind of melted itself in and broke itself perfectly like that.
I bet you was like banging against this thing for a while. Man.
Yeah, dude, that is nuts, dude. It's just one of those silly things that like, building an engine is insanely specific. And I will say, well, I was gonna defend Ethan here for a second. Ethan, the guy, there's 2 Ethans. Ethan that built this car and Ethan, my tuner. Ethan that built this car, he had a weird issue because he was one of the first people out there that K-swapped an S2000. And so he was basically one of the test dummies that went through all the things that suck and that break engines. This is probably his I think this was his 3rd or 4th engine. One of the biggest problems was this actual engine had almost blown at one point in time because he used the wrong size flywheel bolts. And not because it was his fault, but because you actually have to use the longer, I wanna say B18 bolts for the flywheel instead of K-series, because the way that the adapter flywheel for this was made, the head of the bolt was too large and you couldn't properly torque them down. Something along the lines. So you have to use a 14 mil B18 or something like that. Flywheel bolt. And so whenever those backed out, I think that the chattering from the flywheel, kind of like doing that whole thing, might have loosened up some rod bolts, because rod bolts typically don't just loosen up by themselves. Even still, I'm kind of iffy if that's actually true, but this is crazy. I don't really think necessarily it was Ethan's fault, but I think he'd also just been through so much with this particular car. I mean, that's also why I have the car now, because like he was just over it. And now I am too, so who wants my S2000? JK, I love it. Over the past 6-7 months in the background, we've put a bone stock K24 in it, not doing a K20 head or anything like that. Speaking of the head though, we were able to salvage the cams. These Prianto cams are like 3 or 4 grand, so I'm just gonna sell those. Never do an NA K-series again. And then this K20 head is still good because I think these are actually Super Tech valves, springs and retainers as well. Ooh, this is kind of Venturino. Look at that, dude.
This one bent too.
That's pretty sick, dude. So I will use this for either one of my next Civic builds or the drift car.
You might have to get it decked, but it's like, it looks usable.
Yeah, that definitely.
Might have to put new valves in it.
We'll have to see. So I'll do a leak. I'll put this head on. Actually, you don't even have to put the head on to do a leak down, do you?
If you go to the machine shop, they'll leak down every valve.
Okay, so just get it decked and maybe just different valves. The head itself is still usable. This is a K20 head that's fully built, so I'll still be able to use that, thankfully. That saves me a bit of money down the road because I'm gonna end up doing a couple K-series builds. As you guys might know, may or may not know, I have 2 sleeve K-series blocks right here. I'm gonna be trying my best to use both of them this year. One of them on a Honda and one of them on a not so much Honda. I wanted to give you guys an update on this car because again, it was a while ago and I wanted to wait until the car was running again so it wasn't just like, hey guys, blew up another car and then you guys get to watch it for 7 months just sit. Oh my God. Oh, this is an RAA block too, kind of rad. It was kind of rad.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Cars, baby. Cars. Did it to I've learned my lesson. If somebody else has built an engine, probably just open it up and rebuild it or check it. And if you wanna make some horsepower and you're too lazy to pull out the engine to build it yourself, then you're gonna have to pull out an engine and build it eventually anyways, and you're gonna hate yourself for not doing it right the first time. So I learned my lesson with this car, with this IS engine. We're gonna pull out the rest of this stuff. We actually just got the flywheel and the clutch out of this, and we're gonna use that on the Supra, and we got an update for you for the Supra as well here pretty soon. Garen's kind of kicking some butt and getting some stuff done, so my cars are gonna be running again. This is much, oh wait, is that? All right, anyways, S2000's back. and hopefully I'll get you guys some videos on that soon. I need to do some exhaust work on it, make it sound really good, but the car is well prepped, well built. I've got R1 as our brake sponsor, so I got R1 brakes, performance pads and rotors on there, and I got some new Accelera 651s, 100 tread wear, so I can go and shake that down here pretty soon. Speaking of, I actually just got some Accelera 651s on the giveaway Evo. By the way, you guys only have a couple weeks left to win this car. Got some brand new 651s. I'm gonna clean it. I'm gonna try and take it to the track. I'm really gonna try to. We got some 651s, some new sticky, grippy boys for you guys. It's just gonna be such a ripper. Okay, so you guys go to 53supply.com. Make sure you guys get your entries. We got some comfortable merch. We got new merch, and we got a few things coming, so just go check the site. You don't have much longer for the Evo giveaway, and we have a limited amount of merch, so make sure you get it. Doing our best to get everything running again. I will say, guys, having the second child has been certainly a lot more of an adjustment than having the first. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out myself at the moment. I've got a bajillion things I can say to you today for life advice. Life's all about adapting. Listen, you're gonna have good years. You're gonna have bad years. You're gonna have new things come and go. People are gonna come in and out of your life. You gotta be able to go with the flow because things can change so quickly. Life is tough and it goes up and down. Adapt and be resilient and just do the best you can because life is not always gonna be good and it's not always gonna be bad. Life's more about how you deal with the ups and downs than how you plump yourself in complacency with whatever you're currently going through. That's my advice for you guys today. Huge help for us. Go to 53supply.com, grab your entries for the Evo, and also, even if you don't care to win the Evo, grab some insanely comfortable merch because it's good stuff. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.